Alrighty, here we go. Episode 7. Lucky number 7. How's it going? How are you?
Good. So based on our last discussion about the Bad Bunny performance, I don't know that I made myself clear. So I just want to make a statement now that will clarify my position.
Yes. So just so everybody knows, what you called me or I called you, like, I don't know, Saturday morning. I guess you woke up at like 5:30 in the morning. You were thinking about some idea, and then you're like, and I also want to say something about the whole Bad Bunny discussion. I'm like, great, like whatever you want to say. And so here we are. But yeah,
That's right.
So what is it?
So basically, while many viewers enjoyed the Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance, I still believe it really wasn't appropriate for a general audience that includes young children. The Super Bowl is a nationally televised event marketed as family entertainment and broadcast free into millions of homes. Unlike a concert where attendees knowingly purchase tickets and understand the artist's style and content, viewers of the Super Bowl did not have that option, and you don't know what their expectations were. Parents could reasonably assume that halftime show would be suitable for a broad audience. Now, while I love the beat and sounds of Latin music, which actually I thought the music was amazing, but there were aspects of the performance that to me raised concerns. Like some of the lyrics contain explicit language. And although it was in Spanish and may not have been understood by all viewers or even most viewers, profanity is still, regardless, shouldn't be in that type of a show that's a free broadcast. And it's a family-oriented broadcast. So the other thing that I felt was the highly sexualized choreography, particularly involving the female dancers. I thought that was concerning. The presentation.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me just. Yeah. You're reading. Okay, so. You're reading off of something that you wrote or whatever, but this goes back to the point.
I understand, but you already made that point. My point is, I'm trying to let you know why I feel the way I did, because like the dancers, the presentation was really emphasized physical objectification.
Okay, yeah, just say it in your own words is what I'm saying. Like we could just talk openly about it, and you know what you want to say. My whole thing is
it denigrated women. I think, and I thought that was unsuitable for children and inconsistent with messages of respect and dignity, especially for women.
Okay.
And there were also political undertones.
Okay. Yeah. But what's happening is you are justifying the reasons. Okay. So there's two different things going on. My whole thing was, why didn't you watch it? Why did you protest watching it? And the issue for me was that because of hearsay, you didn't want to watch it, right? That is completely different than what ended up happening when the show was going on.
Right.
So these are two different points. So now after the fact, my whole point last time was, why are you not at least giving somebody the ability to express themselves, or you're boycotting them before you even have done research about them, and they may be a good person because you did it from hearsay? That is different than what you're saying right now, which is just,
no, because he had made some statements previous to this performance that I think were inappropriate. But let me get
But did you actually ever listen?
Anthony,
hold on. I don't think. Wait, hold on. I just don't think that you actually heard any of his statements prior. I think you just did research after, and you're trying to come after the fact and justify your reason decision. The only point that I'm making in all of this,
justify it. My thing was, from what I had seen and heard prior to the Super Bowl, was that, you know what, I'm not going to support it.
okay,
And
right.
yes, that perhaps I didn't do a deep dive, but from what I saw, what I heard, pictures that I saw, I didn't think it was good. And even, you know, I understand what you say about, oh, he made a nice proclamation at the Grammys or wherever he was awarded. Yeah, I saw that. But yeah,
You didn't see
says
it.
something,
You
and then he
didn't
says,
see it.
you know,
You didn't see it.
that was all online. So
But
Anthony,
we watched
Anthony,
it.
regardless. Okay, you're
No, it's
right.
not
You're
regardless.
right. You're right. I was closed-minded. I just didn't want to look at it because of what I had heard and seen prior to the show. Big deal. People do that. That's my right.
Yeah, I get that. That's your right. I'm just saying that we're talking about two different things.
Yes,
One
I
is,
understand that. We're talking about me taking hearsay or a small portion of who the person is and making a decision not to watch on a thin, cursory review of the person.
yeah, my point was, if everybody in the world thought that way, then they would never give the individual the ability to listen to the individual.
Anthony, hold on a second, because enough of what I heard prior to the Super Bowl was reiterated and supported by what he did. So I had enough information to make a decision.
Okay.
And it was the right decision for me.
Right.
Because you know what? I don't think what was going on was appropriate. And you know, yeah, okay, you can say, well, you didn't know enough about them. I don't need to know everything about somebody to make a decision. Look, it may be terrible. I could see somebody come in the room and just by their looks, I can make a decision. Now that may be 100% wrong.
Right. Everybody judges everybody. What my only point is that so long as when the tables are turned and there's people that ridicule Trump because of hearsay, or other politicians or anybody just based off of hearsay, and you support those people, as long as you're not a hypocrite and say, that's not even true because you weren't even listening to Trump when he was talking. Trump never said these things. You're just going off of hearsay. Listen, if that's your stance in general, then cool, I'm good with it. But what I'm saying, my only point is, I think that the world will be a better and stronger place as long as people give other individuals the ability to express themselves, or at least listen.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And what I'm saying is, you know, and you talk about Trump. So somebody asks someone that's out there, anti-Trump and blah, 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 he's a fascist. Well, tell me why he's a fascist. They have no idea.
You are making my point for me.
No, you're missing my point. I had what I thought was enough information to make the decision that I did not want to support it. I had enough. Now, maybe it wasn't enough from your standard. From my standard, I heard and knew enough. And yes, it was a cursory review.
Right. All I'm saying is, I think that it would be great if more people actually went to the source of what they disagree with, to hear it straight from the horse's mouth and not as hearsay and just shut people down from hearsay. That's my entire point. So as long as you believe what you're saying right now, which is different, which is, hey, you got external information, hearsay, and you made your decision based on that, I'm saying, cool. You have the prerogative just like other people. Do I think it's good? No, because next time somebody, as long as you're consistent. So when somebody says something, once again, about Trump and they don't have any idea what they're talking about because they didn't actually listen to the full thing of what Trump said, and they're going off of what CNN said, then cool.
Fine.
That's it.
So let me ask you this. I'm assuming that when all of this started with Bad Bunny, you probably took a cursory review of him. You probably saw pictures of him dressed in women's clothes. You probably heard some of the statements he made. Now, that's not a deep dive. Did you not see pictures of him like that?
Number one, I didn't, but that's not, we're not even talking about the same thing. The only time I ever heard him talk was at the Grammys. That's really the only time I've ever really seen anything about him.
So you did a very superficial, made a decision on very superficial information, didn't you?
Not superficial. I'm just saying the things that he said, I listened to what he said at the Grammys. Number one, I would have watched it regardless because I like to at least go, look at the performer and go to the source, right? And I'm not going to listen to what other people say because I hate that. Number two, when I saw him, so I was already going to watch it because I'm not going to just close shit off just because other people are saying something. That's not me. Number two, once I saw what he said at the Grammys, I'm like, damn, he seems like a pretty level-headed person. He's about love. And this makes me want to watch it even more, even though I was going to watch it. But that's the first time I ever heard him say anything. So listen, we just have different viewpoints. I'm more about going to the source of people and giving them a chance to speak and listening to what they have to say, as opposed to hearing it from external people and taking what they say and rendering my judgment off of other people, because I think that is weak and I just don't like that. So that's just the difference.
If you had heard or seen something about Ron Paul and it totally was contrary to your beliefs, and he was coming to do a speech, you might still go.
I mean,
even though
my point is simple. I like to just hear from the source. Like when I don't listen, I don't sit here and hear everybody talk about Trump and render my decision. I'm like, let me go watch the video of Trump giving his speech and let me listen to his words and render my own judgment. Or I'll also take some people that I respect into account and stuff like that if I don't have time. But for the most part, if it's a big issue, I'm going to go to the source. I'm going to render my own judgment. I'm not going to render judgment off of other people's hearsay and what their opinion is. That's it.
And I watched it after the fact.
After the fact is different than what we're talking about.
Yeah, because I understand.
Okay. So,
but I have the ability, just like anybody else, to watch it after the fact and then be able to speak specifically to the performance.
Yeah.
So I understand you're talking about a different thing. You're talking about making a judgment without really going to the source, even though I felt the sources I had, looking at him dressed like a woman, hearing some of the things that he said regarding America, at the end
of the day, I'm just going to say this. This was a political, you jumped onto a team. The team was saying, we're going to not condone this and we're going to go ahead and boycott this. And you jumped onto the bandwagon. That's what this is. Because at the end of the day, listen, there's people that are in the music industry like Prince and people that you probably love that dressed up extremely weird or like women or in dresses or whatever, and you like them, right? and you respect them for their musical talent. So I'm just going to go ahead and call a spade a spade. I believe the reason why you did this is because you're playing for Team Trump, and people over there were saying, we don't like this guy. You know, he doesn't speak English. You know, it's not his first language, and we're going to boycott it.
Speak English.
Okay. I'm just saying what I think it is, but
yeah, right. And you have the right to be wrong about me. That's fine, because ignorance is bliss.
Okay.
So you think you know me, you don't.
Well, I'm just saying you didn't go off of
and you think I did it, and you think I did it just because I think Trump. Look, I think a lot of the things Trump does are good. I think some of the things he does are not good.
I think for
instance, hold on, for instance, and this is an argument that I've had over the years, which philosophically, when you talk about nuclear capabilities, and I've argued this point at parties for years.
Okay.
Where does the United States come off at saying who can have nuclear capabilities? I don't think we have the right to do that.
Right.
Now,
good. We agree on that.
Yeah.
There, we agree.
You know, now I say this, what I would say is to any country that has nuclear capabilities, because you can track through the isotopes where that nuclear material comes from. And I would tell any country, if that gets out and it's used in our country and it hurts Americans, you have a big problem, because we're coming after you.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I would carry the big damn stick, but I don't think we should be telling countries, you can't have this, or you can't have that, or you can't send your oil to so-and-so. I don't think we should be doing that.
Good. I like that you disagree with that. That's something we agree on.
I'm Team Trump. How could I disagree with something that he's doing? Oh my God, I must have had a brain fart.
Yeah, you must have. No, I think that one of them, you have more of an I guess emotional attachment for some reason as to why Bad Bunny, but like whatever. I don't want to continue down that path. We have difference of opinions.
I don't appreciate that type of. I think what's happened in the United States is there's been a moral decline based on my position. Not that everybody feels the way I do, but I think it creates a breakdown in the fiber that holds people together. And I don't think women dancing the way they look. And you know what? If she's in my house and I want to see her dance like that, yeah, come on, baby. But I don't think it's what you want to be showing kids that are 10, 12 years, 14 years old.
At the end of the day, I hear that. At the end of the day, you still watched Beyonce and you still watched other Super Bowl halftime shows that were not kid friendly. I put it this way. I don't know. Wait, hold on. I don't know the last Super Bowl halftime show that you told me that you didn't watch and you boycotted. I would go out on a ledge here and say, this is the first one. And what I'm saying is
that's not true. And there were other Super Bowls that I felt were inappropriate.
That you felt were inappropriate, but you watched it.
Because I had no previous knowledge of what was going to be done and what the performance was. But there have been Super Bowls that I have not watched halftime for one reason or another, but that's besides the point.
Okay.
My issue is I had enough information that I didn't want the Nielsen ratings to count me as somebody that watched them.
Nice.
Because I don't approve with what he was doing. And you know what? He doesn't sing. He said, He says something and they, you know. And look, I have said this before. I don't think performances should have political statements. I think they should be performances.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you may have changed, but I would go out and say that there's many bands in the past
that have
that
done, yes, Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
I mean, almost every big band that you've listened to has had a huge political statement at one point or
Yes,
another. So
but
listen, I don't.
but Anthony, but they're not on the Super Bowl.
It doesn't. If you're the Beatles, you're the Beatles. If you're Muhammad Ali, you're Muhammad Ali.
But you're buying their record. You're not. They're not in the front of 140 million people.
Okay, what I'm
So
saying,
you have a choice, and you have a choice at the Super Bowl. You shut it off, or you don't watch it.
Mhm. Okay, well, that's that. What else are we going to talk about?
Well, since you agree with the nuclear stuff, there's nothing to discuss there.
Yeah, I mean, so do you think that? Do you think that the U.S. should have any say in what any country should be able to do with their military or anything?
Philosophically, no, I don't think we should. Now,
Okay.
the problem is there are issues that we don't know about.
Right.
And I don't know that I still agree with preemptive strikes, but that's a tough question. If you are the leader of the United States and you have some credible information, and look, we know that could be all BS, but if you're,
I would say 90% of it is.
but the point is,
That's the issue.
but the point is, if you are given that information as the president, we have this credible threat that they're going to launch this missile and they have nuclear capabilities. What do we do, Mr. President?
Yeah.
So it's easy to say we should never do a preemptive strike.
Well,
but maybe,
I mean, the way that it would be, the way that it would be is that if we know that they're about to do something, then we just defend whatever they're going to do, right? Because we have the military might to defend it, not to actually go on an attack.
How do you know that we have this? Like Russia supposedly has hypersonic missiles that probably can evade a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we have the ability to once something is deployed that we can definitely take it down.
Yeah, I just think that am I coming through clear?
You're breaking up a little bit, but
am I? Okay.
Yeah, but now you're fine.
I just think that at no point should us or any other country have the ability to just go on an offensive attack based on a what if. Like every country should really be reactive and not proactive, right? Or else it just gives the authority for the military industrial complex to do what it's been doing.
Yes, and it's easy for us to sit here and say that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a principle argument.
But God forbid if they say, this country has hypersonic missiles that we can't take down, and we know this is where they're located and that they're producing them, and we have intel, and here's some pictures. What do you do?
Well, you do the same thing that's done when 25, 30, 40 years ago that a country developed nuclear weapons. There's always going to be the next big, greatest thing that one country's ahead of the other. And if the philosophical argument is what you just said, then it's constantly going to give other countries the ability to go after the country that has a threat that's bigger and better than their own country. So philosophically speaking, it just leaves the door open for everybody to just attack everybody to justify it. And that is the issue. That's the core argument. That's what I don't agree with, because it's a BS argument.
Well,
You should, that's like if, you know, Tommy across the street or in the next neighborhood or whatever, you know, has
a gun
and you're
sticking out the window aimed at your house, what do?
Well, yeah, I'm saying that you go over there and just you kill him and everybody that lives in his house, right? Because of that. It's just,
no, I'm not saying that you, but I'm asking you, what would you do?
You make sure that you're protected, like, and you, I don't know. Yeah. You make sure that you're protected and figure out how to ask them, like, why do you have your guns pointed at our house? Right.
Because we like them pointed at, we like to point them at your house. We
Well,
want to make sure that you don't let your dog out or do something against us.
Well, they would probably say, well, that's because we're pointing them at your house because for the past 20 years, you've gone over to all of our relatives' house and killed them. So we're just afraid of you. Like, that's really the stance of the whole world and the United States. So, and that's the reason why, right? So at some point that has to stop, because we think we're on the moral high ground compared to every other country, and that we have the right for one reason or the other, because I guess we're just better people, even though we're the ones that are the only ones that have ever dropped nukes on any other country. But we still take the moral high ground that we're the only ones that are allowed to have them. And we have the justification because, I don't know, like, what's the justification? Because we're a free nation and we do what's best for people, so we get to kill other people. Like, it's just crazy. So, and proactively. So, but, you know, there's always been false flags in history, and for one reason or another, because because war is big money. I'll just say that. So, and I think that most information is misinformation. I would say I would lean towards 90% of the information that ends up being gathered and provided. 90% of that is probably false. Right.
Well, yeah, it's just like the weapons of mass destruction, you know.
Right.
I mean, yeah, so, I think that.
So at the end of the day,
the military industrial complex wants that.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
we've been part of that issue.
Right. And so my biggest point is, if philosophically we say we have the right to proactively attack a imminent threat, then it just constantly gives that right to us.
Yeah.
And then we never get out of this, you know, constant war, because that imminent threat is just going to be coming in with 90% falsehood at all time to justify, oh, we thought that they were going to do this. Oh, they have weapons. And oh, they have nuclear. Oh, they have this. And they just go bomb, bomb, bomb. Let's just set up military. So that's the issue. The only way to stop it.
So let me ask you this question, because I think if we look at the situation with Iran and Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Iran has made it very clear that they want to wipe Israel off the map.
Okay.
Have they not?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, I'm saying you have to put it into once again, it's not a hearsay thing. I don't know. We can look it up right now. I'm sure that, put it this way, if somebody did to the US what happened in Gaza, right? We would probably say that we want to wipe that country off of the face of the earth, right? So you just have to look at the opposite side of the equation. So I'm sure there are probably countries at specific times that have said they want death to America when the US goes over there and obliterates entire cities. And there's tons of casualties that are women, children, just human beings that were completely innocent. I mean, I would think that if somebody did that to us, we would probably want to do the same thing, and we would do it, right? So you just have to always look at the opposite side of the coin.
Getting back to my question.
Yeah.
I know you hate to answer these questions that I ask you, but I would like you to take a deep dive into that wonderful mind of yours. If you're Israel,
yeah,
and Iran, the leadership of Iran, who's still there and will probably always be there,
yeah,
their goal, and they're not shy about saying it, is that they want to wipe Israel off the map. Hence, if they get nuclear capabilities, the likelihood of them using it is pretty high.
Okay.
So what do you do in that instance if you're Israel, not the United States, because let's take us out of it? Do you think Israel would be right to destroy their nuclear capabilities?
You have to go, I mean, you have to go back to why would you have to understand the why a country is saying that, right? Like, it didn't just come out of nowhere. I don't think that Iran out of nowhere, or any of these countries, are just wake up one day and they say, you know what? We just want to eliminate this other country. Like, you know, we're living a good life, or, you know, we're not being messed with.
Okay,
but
let's look at the history. So the history is that Iran, or the leaders of Iran, feel that Israel has taken their land.
Yeah.
And also, religiously, they think that they need to be eliminated.
Okay.
So
So
I understand you want to go back and look at the history. So, gee, maybe Iran is right. Maybe they should be getting rid of Israel. Forget that. Let's look at present time. Okay.
yeah.
What would you do if you're Israel and you know Iran is getting the means to destroy you? What do? You wait until they launch the missiles?
Yeah, you better have your defenses up, because you just went and, you know, destroyed Gaza, right? Like, so I mean, I don't.
So you're saying wait until they launch the nuclear missiles, which will take 3 minutes to get to Israel or less.
Yeah. What I'm saying is,
you won't answer the question.
Well, I've already answered it. Yeah, the philosophical thing is, you don't attack somebody before you're attacked. If you think that there is an imminent threat, then you have to be prepared for it. But philosophically, what ends up happening, we've just talked about this at length for the past 10 minutes, and it's not going to change in my view. So yes, I would not go on the offensive, because then that gives every single country the ability to say there is a threat and we're going to go on the offensive. Then it's just constant war from every country to every country, because you can justify that from all these different pieces of information that come in.
So then let me ask you this. With, you know, Israel going into Gaza to try to get the people that were kidnapped by Hamas.
Yeah.
You're saying that's acceptable. Even though they pretty much destroyed all of Gaza. But that's okay, right? Because they were trying to get their hostages back.
No, what I'm saying is that at no point, right, there always has to be just defense and de-escalation, because war is not the end all be all. It's it's not good for either side. And what I'm saying is, once somebody is attacked, then yes, they have a right. But there have been, I mean, it's known in history that these attacks, many of these attacks are false flags to justify going in. So,
Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a very specific recent event.
yeah.
You talked about Israel going in and destroying Gaza, right? You
Yeah.
just said that a few minutes ago. Like
Yeah.
that was horrific.
Yeah.
So your position is
I have a
Israel
good
should not
video
have
that
gone
I'm
into
trying to
Gaza,
find
try
right
to
now. Can
get
you hear
there.
me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good video of actually Charlie Kirk that is talking about how long took Israel to defend during the invasion.
I don't understand what you just said.
Yes, so like, hold on. So when, let me see here. I know it's gonna take a little bit, but I guess what I'm saying is, when Israel, what was that? What day was that?
The 7th,
Yeah.
October 7th, I think it was.
There's a really good against Israel support.
See, the problem is Hamas doesn't care about their people.
I mean, I don't know why you say that.
Because of what they do. They hide military assets in hospitals, in schools. Why do you think they do that? To protect their people?
I mean, at the end of the day, you don't know it might be Young Turks. Hold on. I should have this stuff teed up. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. I'm gonna find it. Tell the truth about for. Let's see. I know it's a. Somebody talks about.
Hey, well, let's talk about what we think.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
I'm sure you've synthesized this, so talk.
So I just don't think that at the end of the day, I don't think that any country should go to war preemptively on another country. I don't know how.
We're off of that. We're
Okay.
talking about what happened in Israel. You made a statement that made it sound like Israel went in and totally destroyed Gaza. Like this was terrible. Yeah, it may be terrible, but were they not justified in trying to get the freaking people that were stolen?
What I'm saying is, when you talk about, oh, there's 100 prisoners, and because of that, we're gonna completely obliterate an entire society. That's crazy talk to me. There's more diplomatic ways.
They didn't do that.
What do you mean?
They destroyed a lot of buildings.
What they have killed? It's been a genocide over there. I mean, you don't think it has been?
I think war is terrible, and I think that civilians die in war. I think that certain countries, because of how they act, create a bigger casualty of their citizens. And that is what happens in Hamas.
So let's see. The war in Gaza before and after.
I know what it looks like. I've seen the pictures. There's nothing left.
Right.
There's no buildings left.
Okay.
But they didn't kill all these people.
Who killed them?
What
I mean-
percentage? What percentage were killed of the population?
Well, I just know that Israel, and it's known in the community that Israel is
In what
definitely
community?
just like the
Palestinian community?
no, just in the world in general. People like these countries have always said that Israel, when it comes to like, what is it called when you have rules of procedure and things like that, or what, so
rules of engagement.
Rules of engagement. Yeah. Like Israel is by far the most free to just like do what they want. Right?
That's totally not true. They strive to prevent casualties. They let people know, we're coming to this area. Get out of that area. We are looking for the enemy, not for the population. So I don't know what you're listening to,
Okay.
but they try to make strikes that do less damage to civilians. Most of those buildings that were destroyed, there weren't a ton of people in them because Israel told them, we're coming here, so get out.
So let's see here. I mean, I've watched and read so much on both sides of this that, I don't, if I knew we were going to be talking about this, I'd have everything pulled up so we could go through it. And maybe it's something we can talk about the next time, because there's just so much information out there about what has happened during this war. But philosophically speaking, as I've already stated, it's just the only way is by diplomacy. You have to stop it. And you can't just go off of threats to go on an offensive attack. And that's how I feel. Like, I think that every country should be armed. I think every country has the right to defend itself. And I don't think that any country should be able to go on the offense because of an imminent threat. I think that's, I think those things are usually false flags because there's some underlying motive going on. And I think that's the reason why we're in perpetual wars. And I think it's extremely horrible. And I think that there's definitely people that aren't put in harm's way that benefit greatly from it. And that's what I'm opposed to. I don't really think that most societies just want to kill other societies for no reason, right? Like, they don't just wake up one day and say, we want to kill these people, right? Like, let me live my life. You live your life. You stay there. I stay here, and everything's good. But there's a lot of money behind this stuff. And that's all I'm saying. And so once you give the okay to morally justify going on an offensive attack based on some possibility of a threat or an inward attack, every country could say that right now about almost every country. That's the issue.
You're missing the reality of the situation. We're not talking about somebody that's just saying things. We're talking about people that have done things. Now, there's 2.2 million people in Gaza. 76 as of this month, 76,000 people have died. Yeah, that's a lot of people. Nobody wants anybody to die.
Yes, but first of all, it depends on where you're getting your reporting from. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a philosophical discussion, right? So even if 10 people have died compared to a million, all I'm saying is philosophically what I believe. But I mean, I think that if you look inward, the U.S. by far has been the biggest aggressor in the world, right? But for some reason, we are the ones that think it's okay for us
Well,
to
a
go
big
on the
part of the
offensive.
problem, a big part of the problem is because the U.S., for as long as I can remember, was the police of the world, which we never should have been.
Right.
And it's because World War II, what we did, how we rebuilt countries that we went into and in the wartime destroyed, and then we go back and rebuild them. So, I mean, there's a lot of good that the United States has done, but the reality is I don't know where you're coming from with the Gaza deal. I'm sorry, that it makes no sense to me how you can even begin to take the position that you're taking, because as I said, Hamas puts their soldiers, their weapons in civilian locations, in hospitals, in schools, in mosques. Come on. What does that tell you about the leadership?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, you're way off on that. I mean, you're good with all the other stuff. Yeah, I'm closed-minded when it comes to Bad Bunny and sexualizing women, that I think is wrong,
Yeah.
at least out in the open.
So what you just said something in your last statement while I was looking up a video that I didn't agree with. God, I need to write this down and pay attention. But what did you just say? You said something about, oh yeah. Have you ever read the book
No, I haven't.
Diary Diary of an Economic Hitman?
No.
So it's just about like, how you have the military industrial complex, and it's about
Anthony, I don't just hold on. I do
I'm
not
not I'm not finished what I'm
disagree.
saying.
Yeah, let me just say this so you understand this. Let me make it clear. I don't disagree that the military industrial complex loves war.
Well, what I'm saying is it goes another step further, is because we go in and we rebuild things, right? So then what ends up happening is we loan the funds, okay? The funds have to be allocated to US companies to rebuild things,
Right,
right? And
right.
so then, those companies
Make
benefit because
billions of dollars.
right.
BlackRock, all of those.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yeah, Anthony, I know you think I don't see any of this. You're
yeah.
wrong. I see it. Look, my basic philosophy is everything is economics. Psh, end of story.
Okay. So
Everything is economically based.
okay. So if that is what you think, then you should also agree with my philosophical viewpoint that it's never okay for a country to go on the offensive because of a supposed imminent threat, right?
I philosophically I agree with that.
Now let's say this. Let's just go ahead and take 9/11, right? And it was a horrible tragedy what happened, right? But then what came out of that? What came out of that? Like, we go to war for the next 20 years, 25 years in a bunch of different
Look,
countries. So
I have never agreed with that. They should have done a strike against whoever they felt was behind it,
but
not a
I
war.
right,
We
but
shouldn't
but
have
then
gone after Saddam.
so,
I mean,
so
none of those things we should have been
okay,
doing.
so if you think that, then what is the difference between that and when you're talking about the prisoners that they had to go in and get that were Israeli prisoners? Like, what's the difference? You're
What's the difference?
contradicting. Yeah, you're
The difference
contradicting.
is
Yeah.
the difference is they went in and killed or kidnapped 1,500 people, whatever the number was.
Yeah.
So guess what? They have the right to go find those people, and they have the right to retaliate, and they
Right.
have that right. I'm sorry.
Right. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make, and there's like some, you know, like philosophically, you're just saying two different things. And I'm just trying to understand what the difference is of when you say that, 9/11, we get attacked and then we go to war against all these other countries. And let's just say that, they came over here instead of hitting the World Trade Center, right? That they actually just kidnapped a bunch of U.S. citizens and soldiers and whatever.
Killed and kidnapped?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So then does it, like, why does one of them give the right to actually go to war and you're saying the other one doesn't? So you're saying that when they attacked us for 9/11, you're saying we shouldn't have gone to war.
No, I'm saying we should have taken, look, if Al-Qaeda was the issue or whoever it was, yeah, we should have done that. Look, when we were in Afghanistan and some of those things, we did a lot of positive as well. I don't agree we should have been there per se, but my point is, if somebody came to the United States and killed hundreds of people and took thousands more back to their country, I would say, yeah, we're going there and we're getting them back.
Okay, so let's just flip it around. Think about how many people we have killed, and think about how many prisoners, and think about how many people we've taken that we assume are bad, but they could be good to those countries. Does that give them the right to come over here and go to war with us? Just flip it around.
Say what?
Think about over the years. Okay, let's just go back to Maduro and Venezuela. Okay, that's the most recent thing. So you think that Venezuela then has the right to come over here and go to war against us? Like, I really do think they have that right. Because if somebody did that to us, we would be over there right now. If Venezuela came over here and kidnapped Trump, right, we would be at war with Venezuela. We would destroy their country. But for some reason, it's okay when we do it. And that is all I'm saying.
You're not comparing apples to apples. Most of the world disagrees.
There's going to be a justification. There's going to be a justification right now. That's it. So go make your justification. You're not talking philosophically. You're going to justify an argument of why it's okay.
I'm telling you what's going on.
Okay. What you're going to say is most of the world is going to say.
Hold on. First of all, you assume that I think we should have done that.
What were you going to say? Most of the world what?
I don't say we should have done that.
Okay.
I don't say we should be blowing boats up, even though the means doesn't justify the end. So my point is, what the justification that was given, and I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it, is that on the world stage, the world doesn't recognize him as the leader of Venezuela.
Okay. And the world didn't recognize, some of the world didn't recognize Biden as the duly elected president, and that Trump was usurped when he ran against Biden, right? Like point.
No, I don't think there was any country.
Well, our own country. We stormed. You're on mute or something. We stormed
a segment.
All I'm saying is you can always make the argument that a segment, because I'll guarantee you, everybody in Venezuela, everybody in the US doesn't think that Maduro is not the valid leader in Venezuela. So the argument can always be made that there is a segment that doesn't. So then does that give the authority? All I'm saying is you just have to flip the coin. If the US for sure has definitely went into other countries and should give the other country the justification of attacking us and going to war with us more than any other country. Would you agree with that?
That would give them the right to go to war with us?
Let's just say that 80% of Venezuela, just say, if 80%, hold on, let me finish my statement. If 80% of Venezuelan citizens said Maduro is our president, but there's a subsection of our country, which just say it's Trump and his cabinet, that says, no, he's not. That gives us the authority to go in, snatch him up, and they don't have the right really to go to war against us, right?
Here's the difference. So if you look at the official results versus the evidence with declaring Maduro as the winner, that's not what the evidence shows.
Dad.
And
hold on, please stop right there. Please stop right there.
And several Latin American countries.
Oh my God. Just stop right there. Can the same thing be said about the election in the guy, Trump?
No.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
People said it.
Okay, so let me ask you this. At what percent do you say that it's okay?
At what percent do you say what is okay?
What, you are agreeing that there is a decent percent of the United States that said that Trump was supposed to be elected and there was some nefarious things going on during the election that got Biden elected. There was probably a good chunk of the U.S., okay? Let's just break it down to what it is. Okay.
But the evidence doesn't support that.
What that does, the evidence is only from whoever is analyzing it. So let's just say that Putin says, well, the evidence does support it. So you know what? Russia's going to do what it needs to do, and we're going to go ahead and snatch up Biden.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
You're going to try to usurp this argument. You have to keep on going to.
No,
okay, so let's continue down.
You look at one piece of it. And all I'm trying to do is be the devil's advocate here. So my point to you is, do you think from what you have read and observed, do you think Maduro is involved in drug trafficking?
Okay.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I don't know enough, but I'm just going to go ahead.
Say no.
Hold on.
So say
Hold
no.
on. No, I'm going to say yes, because it's still not going to change my perspective. Okay? Because that's still, listen, part of his indictment said that he had machine guns. Okay. He lives in Venezuela. He's supposedly the president over there. Of course he's got machine guns. He's got tanks. He's got armies. You're talking about subjective BS crazy talk. Now, let's just say, hold on. Let's just say that he's doing drug trafficking. I don't know why you're rolling your eyes. I wish this was split screen.
Yeah, I'm rolling my eyes because you are so philosophical that you never get to reality.
No, you can't get to the semantics. Let's just say Maduro is a drug trafficker.
Look, Anthony, I already said, I don't, and I've said this before, I don't think we should have gone in and taken him. So you can argue whatever you want. I don't necessarily, look, the same way I don't think we should be telling who can have nuclear capability, the same way we shouldn't be determining who should be the president of a country. I don't think we should do any of that.
Okay. So then you are contradicting yourself once again,
Yes,
because
I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate, saying,
don't be the,
okay, so
just
we
speak
agree
what
on
you
everything.
believe.
We agree on everything then. Simple, done.
Okay, so you don't think that we should have gone in and got Maduro?
No.
Okay, so that's easy. So then, do you think
And
that?
all I was trying to do is tell you how they rationalized it.
Oh, that's how they do. Okay, but that's not your viewpoint. Okay, so now if you
No, and
take,
I said, when it first happened, I even said that. I said to a couple people, I said, whether we think he was duly elected or not, I don't think we should be going into another country and taking somebody that happens to be, even if he took it over by a coup. Too bad, it's their country. He now controls it.
all right, so we agree on that. Okay,
But you're still screwed up way on Israel. Sorry.
what? Why? Tell me why.
Because I'm not telling you why, because it won't matter.
Okay, but let's just get down. Let's just try to just follow one path. So you're saying that they came in, Palestinians came in, right? Whoever you want to say, and
Hamas.
yeah, okay,
Hamas. It's Hamas.
yeah, okay. So
They're the ones
Hamas, which
that
is
create the problem.
so. Do you know what? Okay, well, let me just finish this. So Hamas came in and killed and took Israeli prisoners, right? So at that point, you're saying that Israel has the right to go to war against Palestine because Hamas did that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, then if the US does anything in any other country and kills their civilians and kidnaps some of their main leaders, okay, then
They didn't kidnap. No. They did not kidnap main leaders. See, that's the thing. They killed and kidnapped innocent civilians.
Okay. So let's just say we'll just stick with the innocent civilians. If the US goes into a country and innocently kills innocent civilians, does that give the other country the right to come to the US and kill us?
Well,
Yes, right?
It depends on what precipitated us going into that country.
Okay.
If they came into the United States, look, if
let me ask you something. Do you know anything about the pager bombings?
You mean in Israel?
What Israel did to?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay. Was that pre or post Hamas?
I don't recall. Do you?
Well, let's look it up.
I think it was post
of Israel pager bombing versus Palestine kidnap.
Maybe we should talk about this. I mean, this is,
What? This is what? No, I'm just wondering because I don't know. The timeline of these two major events spans nearly a year, beginning with Hamas-led attacks on Israel on October 23rd and leading with a sophisticated pager operation against Hezbollah in September 2024. October 7, Palestine, Hamas militants launched a surprise attack on southern Israel, killing approximately 1,200 people, kidnapping 251 hostages. So that's what started it.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'll send you, there's one video that I want you to watch. And I'll put a link in the comments, but it's just about the whole Israel thing. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm just opposed to like these false flags and then countries going all out war against other countries.
But the problem is you think everything's a false flag. Well, you think that what happened in Israel doesn't deserve them going in and getting Hamas.
War has to be declared by Congress, And war
in
is
Israel. In Israel, you know the
No,
Israeli
I
Constitution.
don't. No, I'm saying for us, but
No, we're
I,
talking
I
about Israel.
no, I'm just saying in
And
general.
for us, we can still go in. We can have military action without declaring war.
Right. And I'm opposed to that
Okay.
because that allows for one individual
To
essentially
have too
or
much power.
power. Yeah. And
Okay.
so my biggest thing is if we want to go to war, it should be declared. And you're going to war against a country for a reason, not against.
Whoa, that's an interesting perspective. So maybe we can talk about that. War against countries,
A country.
or war against a country, or war against
A group.
a terrorist group.
No.
So
What I'm
let's
saying,
talk about that at our
well,
next.
yeah, well, you could think about it. All it is war against the group. There's a war on drugs, and we now have the right to use our military against the
Okay, so what you're saying is we should not have gone after ISIS then, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to go to war against a country, not
You
a
do.
group of individuals. That's the biggest issue. We justify going to because of terrorist organizations. We go take over full countries, and that's not okay. And Congress doesn't declare them. It just allows too much power to be concentrated. Too much bad comes out of it. No good comes out of it. Nothing good has ever happened from it. Zero. It has never made another country better. It has never made us stronger with less
Anthony,
issues.
Look, I am not one for invading other countries. I am not one for us protecting the world. I am not one for sending money overseas when we are borrowing money to send overseas. None of that makes any sense to me.
So then you can't just go to war after a group based off of imminent threats, and you get into endless wars. That's it.
So it's not a war, but it can be a military action that's taken against a group. That's not a war because you're not declaring war against a country.
I'm opposed to that.
Okay. I don't know that I'm opposed to that. I don't know that I'm opposed that if there is a group that we know has attacked us,
yeah,
that we should not go after that group.
As long as you believe that other countries have the right to do that to us.
I believe that if the Ku Klux Klan went and killed a bunch of people in Spain, that Spain could, first of all, I think we would take care of it. But if not,
no, but that Spain has the right to send their military into the U.S. and take care of the Ku Klux Klan. If that's what you agree with, hey, then we have no issue.
Now, let me say this. My first thing would be that Spain would contact us and say, hey, these people came here and did this. You need to get justice for us. And if we didn't, then I don't know that it would be a bad thing for them to come here and covertly take these people out.
Well, then you know what? That would be happening in the U.S. all the time. And we're talking about parts of the the CIA, the NSA, like all the guys that are not really controlled by Congress. None of our
CIA that killed President Kennedy, that one?
I'm just saying.
You mean the people that covered up who actually killed Robert Kennedy? Did you ever read the autopsy report on Kennedy? I think we talked about this. You need to read it.
Yeah, I'm sure. But all I'm saying is that's as long as you believe that, then every country should be over here essentially doing what they want with their military, with their armed forces. That's cool. As long as you agree with that, then philosophically we're sound. Because I agree.
You didn't get the first part, that they should come to us first.
That's
and
cool.
Say, hey, this is what happened.
Yeah, and if they don't think that we did what was just and did enough,
now I don't think they're going to come over here.
That doesn't matter. You're philosophically, listen, all that matters.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
All that matters is if you agree that we can do it and they can do it for the same exact reason, then philosophically, that's how I believe, and we're good on that. So, all right, love you.
Love you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.